Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Friday, July 6th, 2018. My name is Terry Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, and empowerment coach. And I'm here with this week's Messages from Your Angels by Astrological Sign. Sorry I didn't get these out yesterday, guys. With the holiday and everything, I just got a little bit behind. So let's jump right into Aries. All right, Aries. Our first angel is Rosetta. The second is Archangel Gabriel. The third is Omega. And the final card is Layla. So Rosetta is a card about parenting, having a way of working with young people and children. For me, when I talk about a collective, it's really more about the inner child or having a childlike innocence. When I look at this spread, I really think that Aries overall is kind of going through a time when you haven't quite reached the fruition or the manifestation of what you're trying to accomplish or what you want to experience, and it's sort of sitting in that middle ground. Rosetta, I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, I just have to have a childlike innocence about things. I have Archangel Gabriel in the opportunity and or the obstacle. This is really about not being or trying to be not be insecure about things, not running all the scenarios about what could go wrong, what will go wrong, what pitfalls there are, just sort of holding a space. Because I've got Omega in the Angel's Advice, which is a card of victory, and that your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Keep up the good work. The work at this moment is not actually a doing energy. It's more that being energy. It's holding the space for the things that you want to experience, accomplish, whatever you're wrestling with that maybe you don't, maybe you've got some sort of dilemma, interior dilemma, emotional dilemma. I feel like give it a little bit of space. Sort of open up. Don't try to jump in and take action. Just sort of sit back. I have Layla in the final position. She's my walking meditation angel. Maybe it would be a good idea for Aries to take a little time to just, walk it off. Walk it off. If you've got some anxiety, if you've got some nerves, if you've got some anticipatory anxiety, try to work it out of your body. I think that would be, go for a workout, go for a run, because I don't know that you're going to see actual manifestation of anything this week. Actually, I would think maybe even the opposite. Might get a little more choppy before it gets smooth again. So, yeah, hold tight, Aries. All right, let's go on to Taurus. What do the angels have for you guys this week? All right. Our first angel is Patience. Our second is Vanessa. The third is Yvonne. And the final angel is Seraphina. All right, Taurus. Patience in the foundational position is never really about just sitting around waiting for something. It's really more about assimilating an energy. It's about sort of taking a moment to sit back and observe what's going on in your world, rather than trying to jump to any sort of conclusion or draw any sort of determine what's going on. I feel like you have to sit back and just watch for a little bit. I have Vanessa in the opportunity or the obstacle, which is really asking me to make my decisions based on faith rather than fear. And I have Yvonne in the Angel's Advice, which is a card of being vulnerable to making those decisions based on faith. And I want to go back to Patience because I think the faith will come from your ability to sit back right now and not take action. I really kind of feel like with Aries, I kind of got the same thing. It's sort of a week to observe the energies around you. Try to not be reactionary to things. Take a step back and decide how you want to show up. Because in the final position, I have Seraphina, which is the angel that says there's a happy change coming to your family. And I don't know that, again, these are outward manifestations right now, as it feels a little bit more like an interior job. As I sit back and have patience and I look and observe the energies that are going on around me, and rather than reacting to them, I feel like I'm feeling a little bit sense of inner peace because I'm choosing how I'm reacting, or I'm choosing my behaviors versus knee-jerk. So again, Taurus, this week doesn't feel like there's a lot of outward motion. It feels more like inward motion. It feels like a time to sit back and sort of examine how you want to show up regardless of how anyone else shows up. All right, let's go on to Gemini. We've got eclipses coming up. I don't know if we've got 3 coming up over the next 6 weeks or so. They come every 2 weeks, starting on the 13th, then the 27th, and I believe the 11th of August. So a lot of people will be feeling, unknowingly feeling anxious and edgy, maybe a little cranky. All right, Gemini, let's see. Our first card is Oceana. The second is Teresa. The third is Omega. And the final card is Grace and Antoinette. Now, it's kind of interesting because Oceana says to take action, to lovingly assert yourself towards the things that you want. Teresa is a card of, for me, about kind of not worrying so much. With Gemini, you know, again, you guys can kind of go back and forth. You're the sign of the twins. So there's always a little bit of weighing this, the pros and the cons, the this and the that's. And I kind of want to go back to Oceana and say, when you lovingly assert yourself, where are you standing on? Because if you're worrying, I don't know that this won't be sort of a do-over if you try to push too hard. I have Omega in the Angel's Advice saying that victory is coming, but it's not actually just yet. It's sort of in relation to Teresa saying not to worry. This is a running theme already for the first 3 signs. This taking action from Oceana, I don't think it's outside, meaning asserting myself in the outside world. I think it's more of an interior job. In the final position, I have Grace and Antoinette, which is a card of compassion, of trying to see things from another person's perspective. But in this situation, meaning talking to Gemini as a collective, this feels like it's about taking action on an interior level to look inside yourself and to examine whether you really need to worry about the things that you haven't done, that aren't showing up, that you're afraid maybe won't show up, and then sort of having compassion for yourself and imagine yourself, if you were talking to one of your friends, you'd be like, hey, look how good you've been working hard, you've been being in that energy to manifest it. Now it's time for the universe to take over the baton and move you to the next step. So just sort of, again, this taking action from Oceana is more about lovingly asserting yourself into the truth of what's going on, how much you really have asserted yourself in this direction, and allowing the universe to open you up to the next level. All right, guys, let's go on to Cancer. All right. Oh, Megan's just loving herself today. She showed up in the foundational position. I have Crystal in my opportunity or my obstacle. I have Rosetta in the Angel's Advice, and I have Isaiah in the last position. So Omega is the card, the unicorn that says, keep up the good work, victory is coming. Crystal is saying have faith and hope because there's something more and positive that you can't see on the horizon. Rosetta is the card of parenting and children, but in the Angel's Advice, this is like having that childlike innocence again. And then Isaiah in the final position says it's a good time to give birth to new ideas and situations, and that the angels are watching over you. Okay, so now we've had Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and now Cancer with the same basic theme. What we're seeing here is there may not be a lot of outward motion right now, meaning let's say you want to manifest something outside of yourself. I don't think that it will necessarily be bursting forth as much as I feel like the victory comes from you knowing that you have been putting yourself in the energy and the vibration of what you want to experience, and now it is about adopting that childlike innocence that says it's coming to me, and just hold the line. And the giving birth to new ideas and situations is really not about a doing energy. It's about giving birth to the idea that yes, I've been working hard, I've been being hard, I've been keeping my eye on the prize, I'm focused in on what it is I want to achieve, and now it's just a matter of holding the line, continuing that motion so that spirit can then bring in that evidence that you are further along than you think you are. I didn't say this for every sign, and I don't know if you guys are going straight to your sign. So I want to offer this to you guys, Cancer. We've got these eclipses coming up. They can herald in fated events, and those fated events don't always have to be bad things. Sometimes the fated events are good things, things that we've wanted to accomplish, and the time has finally arrived. It doesn't necessarily mean for every single person born under the sign of Cancer that you'll have a life-changing event, but as you give life to the idea that that potential event is something that you've been excited about and worked hard towards, and allowing the universe to take over from here, really passing the baton on to them, and that's where Isaiah comes in. God and the angels are watching over you. Allow them to do their magic now. Okay, let's go on to Leo. You know, so often as humans we think that it's us having to push and do and push and do, and really sometimes it's absolutely the opposite. It's about knowing that you've done whatever you can do. You've planted the seeds in your garden, you've watered, you've fertilized, you have consistently nurtured them. Now they have to grow. Okay. What do we have for Leo? Our first card is Francesca, the second is Opal, the third is Adriana, and the final is Serafina. So Francesca speaks of visualizing what it is you desire, and then really focusing in on the outcome of that versus the jagged road, the twists and the turns that you'll have to take to get there. I have Opal in the opportunity or the obstacle, saying that your children are safe on heaven and in heaven and earth, and that God is watching over them. You know, Leos, as I talk to you all as collectives, I mean, it may pertain to your actual children, but overall, it really does feel like an inner child thing to me. This week feels almost like, and maybe it's because here in America we have the 4th of July, so it was sort of a short week for a lot of people, but this just feels like a week that there's not a lot of forward motion for everybody. It's more about sitting back and allowing ourselves to let the universe lead us to the next step, because I have Adriana in the Angel's Advice saying she's actually leading us towards our manifestation, our dreams, our hopes, our desires, and we are to pay attention to those little subtle yearnings, urgings, nudging of our intuitions. The final card here is Serafina. A happy change is coming to my family. You know, even if you're a family of one, as you move forward to endeavor, experience the things that you want, the financial well-being, the luxuries of life that you want, the markers, whatever your goals are. You know, I don't care if you want to pay off all your debt or you want to travel around the world. As you sit in the energy of what it feels like for that to have been accomplished, in that childlike innocence of, yes, it's just going to happen, and knowing that God and the angels are taking care of that, you really will start to see things, little subtle signs. And I think it's time to kind of pay attention to those subtle signs. I know a lot of my clients will say, oh, I see 111 all the time. When you see a series of numbers, it is a sign from the universe. And if it, just for instance, you're seeing 1011, 1111, 111, your thoughts are manifesting very quickly. Be mindful of what it is you're focusing in on. So for Leo, I really want to say, focus in on the opportunities. Any obstacles that come your way, any bumps in the road are grandly designed to make you more agile along this path. And not just physically agile, but emotionally and spiritually agile. All right, let's go on to Virgo. What's up for Virgo this week? Our first angel is Vanessa, the second is Yvonne, the third is Bridget, and the final is Mystique. Okay, I'm just going to say it. Every single sign so far, from Aries to Virgo, has had a common theme of there is no real huge movement forward this week. This is really a week of, I keep seeing like a chicken sitting in her little nest on her egg and knowing that I just have to tend to it. I just have to nurture and gosh, I can't find my word that I'm looking for right now. It's almost just like staying the line. I guess nurture's the word. I'm just seeing this chicken sitting on an egg, letting it do its thing while I keep it warm. I've got Vanessa saying to make your decisions, are you going to base them on faith or fear? I've got Yvonne asking you to have a childlike innocence and vulnerability to things that you want. Bridget is saying it's time to look a little bit deeper into the situation. And the final card is Mystique saying to keep charging ahead. I feel like for Virgos, this is a time where you're going to sit on the egg and say, I know that my chick is brewing, you know, she's growing in there. And when the time is right, it will hatch. There doesn't feel like there's any movement. It just feels like a time of inner faith, of kind of being a little bit, I almost feel like you guys get scared before you get to have the answer. So I want to just offer you, as you walk through this coming week, and it may feel like things are a little choppy, turn it over to Spirit, and turn it over to Spirit in a way that says, I thank you for the outcome I want. Thank you for this resolution. Thank you for the highest and the greatest good of all people concerned and all dynamics. So it's at its highest vibration, because it just really feels like a little bit of I feel a little frustration when I look at this, Virgo. I feel a little like I thought things were going to start to move forward and then they didn't. They stalled for some reason, and I have to just trust the stall and just sit on the egg and know that when it's ready, it's going to hatch. All right, let's go on to Libra. All right, Caressa is in our first position. Crystal is in the second position. Francesca in the third, and Serafina in the final position. Really total common theme for every one of the signs. Caressa says you're coming to the end of a life cycle, and that call upon God and the angels to comfort you as you move forward. Crystal is saying have faith and hope because there's something positive on the horizon that you can't see yet. And then Francesca is saying, what do you visualize right now? Negativity will block your progress. And Serena is in the final position saying that the abundance that you seek is coming and God is in charge of that. So I really want to offer Libra this idea. You know, with these eclipses coming, and again, I have to say, if you guys, you know, go straight to your signs, I'm not talking about the eclipses with every sign, but we're going to have a series of 3 eclipses. And for my Libras, there is a good possibility that certain dynamics in your life are going to shift. And that shift does not necessarily mean, you know, sinking down the drain. It could be something you've been calling forth on an unconscious level to bring you to a new level of abundance within your life. And I don't want to say just financial abundance, but abundance from a lot of facets of your life, your emotional body, your spiritual body, your intimate body. So Caressa is saying you're at the end of a life cycle. New happiness awaits you. Crystal, have faith and hope. There's more than you can see on the horizon. You know, Francesca is saying go to the end of the story. What does it feel like when you're sitting there? And then Serena sits with her hands open and be in open reception to these things. And, you know, I want to say this too for my Libras. Sometimes the timing of things, you know, we kind of want things now. Let's move forward motion. If I don't see something, it's not happening. That's not necessarily true. And sometimes what we think is a pause is really Spirit moving pieces and places and things in alignment for a bigger and greater and better outcome than we could have imagined it to be. So, again, doesn't feel like I see a lot of actual movement. I'm in a being energy. So we've gone from Aries to Libra. Everybody's in a being energy this week. Let's go on to Scorpio and see if things change. All right, Merlina is in the first position. Omega is in the second. Archangel Gabriel in the third. And Serena again in the final position. All right. So Merlina is a card of confusion, basically saying that you need to do a little bit more research, seek out an expert before actually making a decision or any movement forward. Omega is a card of victory, saying your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Archangel Gabriel is saying, please don't be insecure about these dynamics, even though you may not know exactly what's going on in reference to Merlina. And the final card is Serena, which is the angel of abundance. And she's usually a card of straight up money for me. So I want to offer this to my Scorpios. Again, we are seeing another theme where I don't know if there's actually any forward motion, anything I can see. It feels like kind of a bye week, you know. And so if indeed the lack of resolution is driving you crazy for some reason, just do your best to, I want to say, walk it off, because I don't know that I see there is going to be a resolution. And I think you'll just be more frustrated trying to push. So your victory will come in your ability to open your arms and allow Spirit to show you evidence of some sort of resolution, whether it be, you know, resolution in a relationship, in a financial dynamic, in something that's going on inside of your interior world, your emotional world. I want to just kind of say, so far to everybody, I just want to say, you know, maybe this is just a week to not place a lot of expectations on yourselves or others, and sort of try to sit back and let the dust settle a little bit. Something's spinning out there, and everybody's kind of going to feel it. All right, let's go on to Sagittarius. All right, Sagittarius. Aster is in the first position. Rosetta is in the second position. Sonia is in the third position. And Isabella is in the final position. Well, this is a little bit lighter than the last 7 signs. Astera says you deserve the best, reach for the stars with your dreams and desires and do not compromise. Rosetta is talking about having a way of working with children. I always see this as the collective inner child when I'm talking to a large group of people. I have Sonia in the third position saying that's basically your guides and your angels watching over you. It can represent a deceased loved one telling you that they're safe and sending you love from heaven. But again, as a collective, I look at it more as our guardian angels and our guides. And then the final card is Isabella saying the timing is right for this new venture. A happy outcome follows your positive expectation. So this is what I want to say for Sagittarius. To me, I feel like God and the angels are really saying that as you're contemplating your moves forward and the things that you want, let's just say, I'm talking to a Sagittarius who's just recently got out of college and you're contemplating your next move, your next job. Don't dumb down. Don't play it safe. I guess is what I'm going to say. Reach for the stars. Go for the gusto. Because through that childlike innocence, and Rosetta offers you, and Sonia saying we're watching over you, and Isabella saying yes, the timing is right. It may not manifest itself lickety-split, but stay the course. And continue, and don't let anybody pull you off your vision of yourself. Lots of times people unwillingly or unbeknownst to them, they give us fear bubbles, you know. They're like, we tell them we're excited about something and they go right into the road to get there, and oh, how hard it is, and what you'll have to do to get it done. And I sort of want to just sort of push all that aside. There's a truck out there. Do you hear it? Okay, it's gone. So I want to say, Sagittarius, I think what Isabella is offering when she's saying, yes, the timing is right for this new venture, it's really about reaching for the stars. It's really about contemplating your moves forward in a way that doesn't dumb it down, that hits all the bells and the whistles, and really not about what you think you can do, but what you want to do. And then give yourself permission to know that as you move forward, you're going to evolve. You're going to grow, either in new skills, new ideas, and I guess Spirit is really wanting you to adopt that childlike willingness to learn, to not have to know everything right now, to take it step by step by step, and to continue to reach for the brass ring. Always go for the gusto. All right, let's go on to Capricorn. What does Spirit have to say for our Capricorns this week? All right, I have Mystique in the first position, Astera in my opportunity or my obstacle, Chantal in the Angel's Advice, and Athena. Well, that's the first time they're showing up today. Okay, so Mystique is saying charge ahead. Keep charging ahead. Expect miraculous solutions. Miracles are simply alignment to source energy. It's simply being pure and intentional with what it is you want. And Astera is saying reach for the stars with your dreams and desires and not to compromise. That is very much, there's so much in alignment here saying, okay, Capricorn, you're very practical, all right? You're the type of sign that goes, okay, I want to accomplish this, and I need to do A, B, and C in order to get there. If A and B get mixed up and C turns into a D, I kind of feel like it's okay. Just stay the course. Just give yourself permission to wiggle on the road a little bit, because I have Chantal in the third position, and this is the Angel's Advice in regards to Astera. Chantal's a card of romance, saying it's a resurgence of a relationship or a new relationship is coming in. And I really think that this is about my Capricorn sort of kind of falling in love with themselves. It's almost as if you go through some sort of obstacle, and as a result of going through the obstacle, you conquer it, and in the conquering of it, you feel empowered and proud of yourself. I have Athena here saying to lovingly assert yourself. So Mystique is saying to keep charging ahead. Astera is saying, don't compromise with what it is you want. Now, this is what I want to say, too, about compromise, okay? Because it's not about fighting with other people. It's not about that bullying energy. It's about a deeper knowing on the inside about what you want, and not allowing the peanut gallery to get in your head and mess with you. And that's where Chantal offers you this resurgence of your own inner passion. And then Athena's saying, and then assert yourself in that direction. And I don't know if this is necessarily meaning to jump into action, as much as I think it's about continuing to give life to that bigger dream, bigger goal, bigger vision of yourself, and taking it one little step at a time. With the being energy first, what do I believe about myself? What is my attitude when I'm walking? Am I fearful when I'm going here? Am I hoping this is going to work out? Or am I standing in a stronger energy of a deeper knowing and a willingness to walk through the challenges, to know that they are going to end up being giving me resources moving down the line? Meaning, as I go through a challenge, I learn from that challenge. So the next time it doesn't hit me the same way. All right, let's go on to Aquarius. Alrighty. Our first angel is Chantal. How fun is that? Seraphina is the opportunity, the obstacle. Xana is our Angel's Advice. And the final card is Isabella. Well, interesting, interesting. All right, so here I am talking to Aquarius, and God knows how many hundreds or thousands of you there are out there. So when I look at Chantal as a card of a romance card, I kind of have to look at it from a really broad perspective, because there are many of you that may fall in love this week, or over this, maybe teeing up to fall in love. I talked about these eclipses bringing in fated events. Sometimes we've been wanting to be in a relationship, or wanting our relationship to be renewed, and these eclipses may be just that little ticket that moves things forward. I have Seraphina saying there's a happy change coming to my family. In the opportunity of the obstacle, I have Xana saying that you're protected. The worst is behind you. And I really feel like when I'm, again, talking to a collective, I'm not talking about physical harm. I'm talking about emotional, spiritual harm. And here's Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right for this new venture. A happy outcome follows your positive expectation. So I want to kind of recap this. I believe what God and the angels are saying is there is the potential for many of you to fall in love, to have a resurgence in your relationship. There's also the potential that as you stand in the light of what you want for yourselves, you feel a certain resurgence in the passions of your heart for yourself. So as single individuals, that passion brings in a new sense of excitement in your home, in your family. And Xana is offering you this protection as you stand in your dreams, your spiritual, emotional, you're protected in that way. And Isabella is saying, yes, allow for the birth of this, or allow for it to go to the next stage, or allow for it to blossom. And I want to offer this to you as well, Aquarius, when it comes to Chantal offering you sort of this resurgence in your relationship. It's also that if you've had challenges in relationships in the past, or you feel like you've, they've been, we all have our baggage, right? So I want to say this, as you allow for that baggage to be now the teachers, the tools, you start to smell something familiar that you didn't find pleasant or tasteful in a previous relationship, hold back and allow yourself to observe how this is playing out, because that in and of itself, you may find that resurgence of love is for yourself, because you now know, as this is what Xana is, that you can take care of yourself, that you're not going to go down a rabbit's hole because you're being triggered by old behaviors, that you've evolved past that. All right, let's go on to our final sign, Pisces. All right, my little fishies. Whoops. Let's see what's up for you this week. All right, our first angel is Layla. Our second is Archangel Uriel. Our third is Seraphina. And the final card is Serena. All right, so Layla's my walking meditation. I always feel like it's almost one of the easiest ways for God and the angels to talk to me is for me to get out into nature and to pay attention to what I see, from the trees blowing to the lizards on the ground to the birds in the sky, because each one has a vibration and has characteristics, and Spirit is using those to tell me a story. So I would really urge my Pisces to get out and, if you can get near a body of water, of course, that would be great for you, because I have Archangel Uriel in your opportunity, your obstacle, and this is a card of frustration. So many of you may be feeling frustrated or angry about something. You may be mad at yourselves. You may be mad at other people. But I feel like if you get out into nature and sort of walk it off, it'll help shift you. Because I have Seraphina in the angel's advice, which is saying a happy change is coming. And I want to say this, I don't feel like this is outside of yourself. I feel like it's more of a reconciliation inside of yourself. We all have a right to be angry and frustrated. And when we look at why we're angry and frustrated, maybe sometimes we're not taking care of ourselves. In some respects, maybe we've given our power up to somebody else, or we hope that they're going to show up or do something a certain way and they don't, and then it's us, or how we filter how someone else shows up. If we allow, I hate to use the word allow, because it's hard when you're in relation with other people and you want a certain outcome. There is an expectation. But if we find ourselves disappointed in the other person, I think that what Layla and Archangel Uriel and Seraphina are offering us is for us to take care of ourselves during that time, not give up our power. How can I give you an example of what I'm saying, Pisces? Let's just say a friend makes plans with you, and then last minute they cancel, and you had really been excited about that. It's kind of up to you to decide as a result of their canceling, how you want to process that. Is this a pattern that they do? Is this a one-time deal? And allow yourself, rather than to be frustrated, to use it as a piece of information so that you can move forward in that situation feeling empowered. Because I have Seraphina in the final position here, and that's the card of abundance. But right now, for some reason, I'm really getting it about, she sits like this, and I think it's about being open. And when I say open, it's about being open to observing situations, people, and dynamics, and observing whether or not they're really in alignment with what it is you want for yourself. And instead of making the other party, place, thing wrong, just allow it to be what it is, and then choose what it is you want for yourself and make and stand on that. So it's kind of a neutral place. And I think in that you'll find a little bit more peace of mind, at least for this week. Okay, so that's it for Pisces. Again, I don't know if you'll all watch the whole video, but there is eclipse season coming. Mars is retrograde, Saturn is retrograde. There's a lot of choppy, kind of challenging energy right now. And as we take time to focus in on ourselves and how we're showing up, regardless of what's happening on the outside world, I think that's where we'll find our inner peace and find our solace, really. All right, guys, that's it for me for this week. Again, my name is Terry Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner. And if you'd like to learn more about me or book a private session with me, please feel free to go to my website, or my phone number is below in the link. You can call or text me. All right, everybody, I'll see you next Thursday. Have a great week.